everybody, it's Linda, Black Bear Family Farms, and I am out in the garden and I just found out that I have not sprayed my cricket concoction early enough and they have gotten a hold of my Bok Choy. Let me show you. So this is what happens when you don't spray for crickets or grasshoppers. I get them mixed up all the time. They have just decimated my Bok Choy. I'm going to go ahead and pull them and give the remainder of them to the chickens. They seem to really like Bok Choy and they're working on my tatsoi over here. But they have not touched the squashes yet. So I still have time. I have my concoction ready and I will talk about that a little more. And I got a new sprayer, but it's a little too windy today. I'm worried about spraying because it's not anything that would hurt any other plants, but I just want to be sure it gets on the plants. It's just, even though it's hot and stuff, it is windy. So everything else seems to be doing okay except for my greens here. So I do have some daisy gourds. No, actually this is a butternut and a acorn and a Hubbard. So these guys I'm going to go ahead and plant in here. I didn't have anywhere else to put them, and this Bok Choy isn't going to make it. And I've tried cutting it back and letting it grow more, just like a lettuce or something. It just doesn't work. It doesn't come back very well. So I'm just going to pull these guys and plant these squashes, and hopefully they'll do well. They're a winter squash. They have a little bit longer to grow. So let's see how they do. These are the last of the squashes that we grew, and they didn't sell at market, and they've just been sitting in this tray for several weeks. They're starting to flower and do their own thing, so it's either throw them away or get them in the ground. And so even if they don't make it, it's okay. I just want to get some in the ground. Weeding over here also gives me the chance to pull all these little elm trees. These are those little white seed pods that were blowing and blowing and blowing all over. They like to take root about everywhere. Thank goodness they're not ones that come back. You pull it once and they're done. But they are starting to get like some true leaves on them. The roots are getting a little longer, so it's time to get them out. But like I said, they're easy to get out, not like the morning glory that embeds itself. So this one's a nice one to get out and just do some weeding. Uh-oh, over here I just upset some ants. Let them calm down a little bit. I'll spray them with some water. Maybe they'll run away before I go planting. I don't know that they bite, but it's just really gross to have to deal with. I don't know if you can even see them. Oh, there they are. These are the little white elm trees pods that we had millions of them, literally. This is one of the most frustrating parts about gardening here in Idaho. Maybe it's everywhere, but it looks nice and wet on the top. Then you move the dirt and it's dry. I mean, it's just pretty dry. And so you always have to keep an eye on your plants. If they're not doing well, do a little check underground, make sure the water's getting to the roots. This is, it's just so dry. It's amazing. And we water every single day. And the ground just never gets saturated. Now, we don't have a irrigation system yet. One of my tips, if you're starting to garden here in Idaho, is to make mud soup. Water well below ground. Be sure your plant is well watered. Let it soak in. And my goal when doing this is that it will help it to wick down. So once it's planted, like this one over here, and the ground is nice and wet around it, then once you water again, it'll be able to wick it down to the surface, under the surface, I mean. So that's one of my tips for anyone who's gardening here in Southeast Idaho for the first time is to make a nice mud soup, and then you can, it absorbs nice and quick. And then put your plant in there, especially when you're first planting like I am right now, and helps it to stay hydrated. So hopefully these guys will take off like the other ones. Out here I have our daisy gourds. I went ahead and put them in the patch with the currants. The currants are not going to be blooming or fruiting this year. Some of them have a few on it. They're just transplants. I checked them. All the stems seem to be pretty pliable. I think they're well alive. They're just gonna make roots right now. So I went ahead. These guys look good, but just a few berries from what they came with. But the wind today is crazy. Look how it's bending our poor sunflowers all over the place, tossing them. Wow, that one's getting real big. That's a volunteer in the back there. He's getting big. All these other ones, they were volunteers too. They came up on their own, but then I took them out of this bed because I thought I was putting something else in here. And then we went ahead and put them back in here. So they're amongst the raspberries, which again are like the currants. We're not worried about any fruit from them. We just want them to get root systems. And they have nice green stems. And so next year we should have some nice raspberries here. And this is gooseberries, which I'm not sure when they fruit. I think they're more of a fall crop. So first year, I don't know that we'll be getting anything, but they certainly are nice and healthy.